The sacred scriptures show us that angels are beings that carry God's message and are sent by the Father to minister to needs of divine categories and to care for all who are faithful to the words of heavenly salvation. The Bible tells us that heaven is inhabited by multitudes of angels. The company of angels in heaven is countless, yet we are not so familiar with their names. Hebrews 12:22. Angels are celestial beings, meticulously created by God, and do not resemble humans in any way, nor are they the disembodied spirits of humans, as some doctrines defend. We were made a little lower than the angels, and are not even of the same celestial sphere. Psalms 8-5. These elevated and winged beings were created even before Adam and Eve. And when the first couple sinned and were expelled from the Garden of Eden, it was an angel who, in supreme vigilance, prevented them from entering paradise again. Every angel, with the exception of the traitors who allied themselves with Lucifer in an attempt to dethrone the celestial, is a holy angel of God. Angels love the Father and blindly obey all of God's commandments. It is written in Psalms that there are several orders within the angelic class as well as a hierarchy. In the Bible, although angels are mentioned repeatedly, we only have 4 angels named, being fallen angels and sacred angels. We will analyze and learn about each of them and their functions in the celestial panorama, outlining the task assigned to each of them. The first and perhaps the most famous is the fearsome Lucifer, the fallen angel. In Isaiah 14-12, it is said that Lucifer was in heaven before his eventual fall, a result of his pride and having conspired against the Most High. We see in Isaiah 14-12-14 the following: "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? As he was thrown to the ground, you are he who weakens nations. For you believed in your heart that he would ascend to heaven and leap with his throne above the stars of God, and also sit on the mount of congregation, and would be like the Most High." Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, but they did not prevail, and no place was found for them in heaven. Michael is the personification of divine resistance against pride and iniquity. His battle against Lucifer and his expulsion from heaven symbolize the victory of humility and justice over pride and rebellion. Michael's story is a chronicle of power, protection, and spiritual triumph, intertwined with heavenly designs and the eternal struggle between good and evil. We will now talk about the angel Gabriel, a being shrouded in mystery and reverence, occupies a central place in biblical narratives, especially in the story of Christmas. This heavenly messenger, known to many through the sacred story of the Annunciation, brought Mary the transcendental news of her divine pregnancy and the imminent birth of Jesus. Gabriel, along with Michael, is one of the few angels named in the scriptures, being a figure of utmost importance in Christian theology. Gabriel, who is not explicitly named archangel in the Bible like Michael, plays a significant role as the bearer of good news to God's servants. He appears to Zechariah, announcing the conception of John the Baptist, as described in Luke 1:11, and to Elizabeth, confirming the divine promise despite Zechariah's unbelief. Gabriel is a messenger of divine authority, acting as a link between the heavenly and the earthly, and symbolizes hope and the fulfillment of God's promises. In the narrative of Jesus' birth, Gabriel is crucial, especially in the Annunciation to Mary, where he prophesies the birth of Jesus, and to Joseph, clarifying the divine nature of Mary's conception. His appearances are marked by good news, reinforcing his image as a messenger of divine revelation. Culturally, Gabriel is seen as an angelic messenger, similar to the mythological Cupid, symbolizing good news and hope with a profound impact on humanity. Moving on to our last angel, a mysterious and lesser-known figure in the Bible's angelic pantheon, we meet Abaddon, or Apollyon, a fallen angel who remains enigmatic to most. His presence is revealed in the book of Revelation, the last of the New Testament, a book full of symbolism and revelations about the end of times. Abaddon, whose name resonates with dark overtones, is mentioned in Revelation 9:11 as the angel of the abyss. In Hebrew, his name is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon, both translated as destroyer. This figure is often overshadowed by better-known and celebrated angels such as Michael and Gabriel, but plays a unique role within the scope of the biblical narrative. In contrast to the traditional image of angels, Abaddon is described as the king of a swarm of locusts, an entity that emerges from the abyss to bring destruction. Some biblical commentators associate Abaddon with Satan, but a more cautious interpretation suggests that he may be one of the principalities or powers under the command of evil forces, as described in Ephesians 6:12. Abaddon represents a darker and more complex facet of the angelic world, being an agent of destruction and a ruler of the abyss. It symbolizes destructive power and the role that certain celestial entities play in eschatological events. This figure adds a layer of depth and mystery to the angelic universe, opening doors to a broader understanding of spirituality and biblical cosmology. This episode about Abaddon, like others exploring the angelic world, invites you on a journey of knowledge and spiritual discovery. Exploring these celestial entities allows us to probe the mysteries of the universe and human existence, contributing to continued spiritual growth and a deeper understanding of the world around us. At the end of our series on biblical angels such as Michael, Gabriel, and Abaddon, we hope to have encouraged your curiosity and interest in biblical narratives and mysteries. These angels symbolize various facets of spirituality and human experience. On the Biblical Tales channel, we are dedicated to highlighting the most striking stories, characters, and teachings from the Bible, seeking to inform, inspire, and promote deep reflections. As we delve into the sacred pages of the Bible, we discover that the coming of Jesus has been meticulously prepared since the times of Abraham. Remarkable events in the history of figures like David and Judah were not mere coincidences, but fundamental pieces in the construction of the messianic lineage. Today, you are about to embark on an eye-opening journey where you will uncover why the choice of the tribe of Judah transcends a simple question of lineage. We are talking about a crucial and meticulously planned element within the grand divine plan. Prepare to have your perception expanded and your heart touched as we explore this sacred mystery together. Jesus' lineage, originating from Abraham, is crucial to understanding his origin in the tribe of Judah. Abraham, recognized as a great man and patriarch, was graced by God with the promise of founding a great nation. Among his children, Ishmael, born of Hagar, and Isaac, son of Sarah, stand out. The divine blessing, however, was destined for Isaac's lineage. Isaac had two sons, Esau and Jacob. The birthright blessing, which under normal circumstances would grant high status, was transferred from Esau to Jacob through a landmark event, the birthright negotiation. Jacob, also known as Israel, became the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, with Judah being a key element in Jesus' genealogy. The Old Testament scriptures contain messianic prophecies that begin to reveal themselves with Jacob as he blesses his children in his last days. Reuben, Simeon, or Levi were expected to lead the tribe and perpetuate the messianic lineage. However, serious errors disqualified them from such a role. Although Reuben possessed the birthright and leadership by nature, his act of immorality with Bilhah, his father's concubine, while they lived in that region, as revealed in the book of Genesis chapter 35 verse 22, tainted his position with a serious moral slippage. This episode likely eliminated Reuben from consideration for leadership, despite his firstborn status. Similarly, when Dinah, their sister, was sexually assaulted, Simeon and Levi reacted with devastating anger, deceiving and exterminating all the men in the city in retaliation for their sister's attack. This violent action led to a severe reprimand from Jacob. Their uncontrolled fury and lethal revenge clearly disqualified them from the messianic succession. The inability of the three older brothers to lead and continue the messianic lineage highlights a striking contrast with initial expectations. In this context, among Jacob's descendants, Judah, despite its own errors, was assigned a fundamental role in the genealogy of Jesus. Messianic prophecies, as narrated in the Old Testament scriptures, begin to materialize with Jacob's blessings to his sons before his death. In Genesis chapter 49, verse 10, Jacob prophesies that the scepter would not depart from Judah, nor the commanding staff from between his feet, until the arrival of Shiloh, to which the people's obedience would be handed over. This particular prophecy emphasizes the royal and dominant ascendancy that would arise from the tribe of Judah. The term Shiloh is commonly interpreted as an allusion to the Messiah, signaling the coming of a leader and sovereign. The link between this prophecy and the selection of Judah as the lineage from which Jesus would descend is clear in the genealogy of Christ himself. During Jacob's blessing to his son Judah, a highlighted passage in Genesis chapter 49, verse 9, gains importance. Jacob declares, "Judah, you are a young lion. You return from hunting, my son." He crouches, he rests like a lion, like a lioness. Who will awaken him? The symbolism of the lion, linked to the tribe of Judah, constitutes a deep and significant metaphor that extends throughout Scripture, highlighting both authority and nobility. The image of the lion evokes strength, courage, and command. The tribe of Judah was predestined to lead the tribes of Israel. This metaphor acquires even more relevance when we consider the designation Lion of the tribe of Judah, later applied to Jesus Christ, highlighting his majesty and power as supreme leader. In the apocalyptic text of Revelation, more precisely in chapter 5, verse 5, a vision of John is narrated in which a lion is revealed to come from the tribe of Judah, the lineage of David, which prevailed, a direct allusion to Jesus. This allegorical image highlights the majesty of Christ and his supremacy in the face of adversity. The lion, a recurring icon in biblical narratives, symbolizes not only physical vigor but also the ability to reign with equity and insight. The election of Judah as the precursor to the coming of the Messiah underlines the divine constancy in honoring his vows of salvation through the royal lineage that originated in this tribe. Examining this selection from a theological perspective, we identify a fusion of divine qualities and intentions that come together in a unique way. In Genesis, when Jacob utters prophecies about Judah, he highlights not only the leadership and the baton of command that would be perpetuated by his descendants, but also foresees that the loyalty of the people would bow before him, indicating a messianic authority and a distinctive role conferred to the tribe of Judah. The theological understanding of this election contemplates Judah's dedication and its relevance in achieving divine purposes. David, a prominent descendant of Judah and an exalted monarch, was the recipient of a perpetual covenant with God, which ensured that his reign would be eternal, foreshadowing the advent of a messianic king from his lineage. Furthermore, the name Judah, which translates as praise or exaltation of God, insinuates a special connection with the cult and exaltation of divine supremacy. In its extensive history, the tribe of Judah stood out for its remarkable commitment and fidelity to God, qualities that made it preponderant for the advent of the Messiah. Judah's distinction compared to the other tribes generated by Jacob reveals a precise purpose and a deliberate theological choice to establish Judah as the messianic lineage. The 12 tribes are recognized for their unique identities and contributions to the Israelite saga. However, the selection of Judah carries deeper theological implications. Tribes such as the lineage of Joseph through Ephraim and Manasseh were also granted specific favors, just as the tribes of Reuben, Simeon, and Levi played significant roles, such as Levi's dedication to the priesthood. Each clan had its special importance in shaping the identity of the people of Israel. However, the theological foundations that guided Judah's election surpass its isolated characteristic. Jacob, when blessing his descendants for the last time, highlighted distinctive features of Judah that qualified him for a unique role in the salvation story. In Genesis 49, Jacob's description of Judah as a lion refers to an image of authority, leadership, and nobility, indispensable qualities for the messianic enterprise that would unfold through his offspring. A detailed examination repetition of the biblical accounts allows us to notice specific details and decisions that show how each element was intricately planned in divine purposes, paving the way for the lineage that would extend back to Jesus. Joseph's narrative stands out as a vivid account of the divine hand, beginning with his father's manifest predilection evidenced in the gift of a multicolored tunic. This action aroused envy among Joseph's brothers, inciting them to plot against him, even considering his murder. However, Judah's initiative to suggest selling Joseph instead of taking his life represents a decisive moment in the biblical plot, with extensive consequences for his posterity and for the realization of the divine plan. In Genesis 37 verses 26 to 27, we find the passage where Judah proposes to his brothers, "What profit will we have if we kill our brother and hide his blood? Let us sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lift our hands against him, for he is our brother, our own flesh." The brothers complied. This choice not only saved Joseph's life immediately, but also triggered far-reaching events, because when he was sold and taken to Egypt, Joseph, under the divine providential hand, rose to a position of prestige and was essential in survival during a period of hunger. This turn of events not only preserved Joseph's life, but also set the stage for a future reunion with his brothers. Furthermore, Judah's choice to sell rather than murder Joseph had relevant theological implications. Through this action, God used the incident to carve out history. Judah inadvertently became a vital link in the divine project preserving Jacob's lineage. Joseph's eventual reconciliation with his brothers transcended simple forgiveness, reinforcing Judah's crucial position in the messianic genealogy. Judah's progeny emerged as a central element in the revelation of the Messiah, fulfilling Jacob's prophecy that the scepter would not depart from Judah until the coming of Shiloh. Another providential episode that stands out is the tale of Tamar, detailed in Genesis 38. Tamar, Judah's daughter-in-law, widow of two of her sons, Er and Onan, should, according to the law of the Levirate, marry Shelah, the third son of Judah, when he reached maturity. However, faced with Judah's hesitation in honoring this tradition, fearful for the lives of her children, Tamar took a shrewd measure. Upon noticing Judah's reluctance to give her Shelah as her husband, she disguised herself as a harlot and seduced Judah. Judah, not identifying her, approached and got involved with her. As he was not carrying any money at the time, Tamar requested an object of value as collateral until the debt was paid off. He then handed her his seals, a cord, and his staff. In the absence of immediate payment, Tamar requested Judah's personal effects as a pledge. Later, when she revealed herself to be pregnant, Tamar confronted Judah with the pawned item. Faced with this revelation, Judah admitted Tamar's righteousness, recognizing her as more righteous than himself. Tamar conceived twins, Perez and Zerah, and Perez became a noted ancestor in the messianic lineage. Before we continue, I humbly ask that you help me by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. This simple act helps me continue with this work and make YouTube recommend more videos like this. Now back to the story. The plot, involving Tamar's insight and divine direction in preserving Judah's lineage, exemplifies how God manages even the most intricate circumstances and questionable human decisions to accomplish his supreme purposes. The divine providential hand acted to ensure the continuity of the messianic lineage through Judah, preparing the ground for the arrival of the Savior, even without Judah being fully aware of it. The messianic promise made to David highlights the significance of the tribe of Judah. The genealogy in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke highlights the descent of Jesus, linking it to David and consequently to Judah, reaffirming the fulfillment of the messianic prophecy in Jesus as descendant of Judah, reinforcing the divine promise throughout Israel's history. David, anointed by God as king, marked Israel with victories, national development, and the founding of Jerusalem as the capital. The promise to David, found in the second book of Samuel, chapter 7, is a milestone where God assures an eternal kingdom to his descendant, foreshadowing a future king who would establish a reign of eternal justice and peace. The covenant with David, which promised an eternal kingdom to his descendant, and the continuation of that lineage until Jesus Christ, highlight the depth of divine love and wisdom. By choosing Judah, God not only fulfilled the prophecies but also laid a foundation for Jesus' redemptive mission on earth. The story of Judah, symbolizing the promise of a Redeemer and its fulfillment in Jesus, illuminates the vast divine plan and sovereignty of God in the history of redemption.